All right, good afternoon, folks, and welcome on back. Continuing along, of course, and closing out our week, rather, our Friday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time here, guys. Welcome on back, and let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. That goes across the board. All of us here live in our trading room, and of course, streaming across social media, Facebook, YouTube. Welcome on back, guys. There we go. Great to see Bonnie, Greg here in our chat board, loud and clear. Should be good, unanimous. William, Kathleen, Dennis. Perfect. All right, guys. So without further ado, look what I ended up doing on my charts. Quick little tip. I ended up showing this yesterday live in our trading room. I ended up adding the Dow Jones just to the bottom of my screen. Hey, every day is a learning day, guys. So, as much as I've used TradeStation over the last 5.5 years, I'm not a jack of all trades with the platform. So, I ended up finding this out actually a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to show this to you guys here, playing around with it yesterday. Figure I'll keep it up at this point. So it's easy for us to see the Dow. It's easy for us to see a stock like NCLH, one of our side list stocks here. So for right now, guys, the Dow is down like maybe 100 at this point now from yesterday's close. But gotta say, just looking from high to low across the day, it's been smooth sailing on the way down. I guess pun intended with NCLH, smooth sailing, get it? NCLH ended up being a hell of a short. We ended up seeing this guy's breakdown below the pre-market low here early in the morning, $19.50. Ended up shaking a bit, but ended up dropping off with the market very quickly actually thereafter. Ended up making a breakdown towards the next whole number support off 19. And as you guys can see, it's just been a very steady downtrend going into the afternoon. So, what we're seeing right now is a bit of a dead cat bounce, so to say. Norwegian Cruise Lines, NCLH. We'll look at the others, of course, here in a moment. But NCLH, at least being shortable, ended up dropping off down below 18. It held underneath 18 for a little bit. I ended up taking a small loss off the long, trying to catch this on the bounce. And I told you guys, wait for this to hold off support around 18. It broke through the level. It didn't kiss it perfectly, but you could see the next couple of bars, it was doing a good job holding higher lows, holding support over the 18. And at least for the meantime, it's been moving up with the Dow, moving up with the markets entirely. Guys, you might ask why I like focusing so much on Norwegian here. Simple reason, it's shortable. CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines, at least for those with TradeStation, hard to borrow. I know there's CUK, another Carnival stock here. I think this is shortable. There's also RCL, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, which is shortable, just a little bit pricier. Ended up making the same type of run down, though. So I know a few of our students, Ben and Michael D, that is, I know that you guys were calling out this RCL while I was following the NCLH. So they're good stocks to follow going into the afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up adding both going into the close. But, otherwise, guys, again, it's pretty simple to say. A lot of stocks ended up moving down with the market. Aside from the cruise lines, I got to say the airlines ended up dropping off pretty sharply just a moment ago, even better than the cruise lines here. So United Airlines, Spirit Airlines, Save. I think recently I ended up calling out, what was it, Southwestern, LUV, all making the same sort of move here. LUV with a very sharp drop down towards 34 and it just bounced right off the big volume spike, as you guys could see. So great day to follow the market, right? But, aside from that, we ended up doing pretty well on a couple of the other stocks that we had on our morning watch list, guys. Jerry here in our chat board saying RCL was a winner for me yesterday. Yeah, hey, it's a great side list stock, like I said, Jerry. So, what I mean by side list for all of us here streaming on social media, it's a stock that we might not look to call out every day. All of us here in our trading room pretty much see me call out Norwegian every day, but with good reason, right? It's a great stock that we could long, we could short. It presents a great opportunity for us to day trade, to get in and out across the morning or across the afternoon. All right, let's see. So from those that we had from the morning, guys, let's go through those to begin. The IDEX trade, once further, ended up being more of a pre-market play. This was on our pre-market watch list, ended up being great for us early on off the breakout, leading into the market open for a stock that was up as much as IDEX. You typically expect the pullback. But otherwise, guys, you could see it ended up just continuing to flatten out here, held resistance pretty nicely right off the 220 and died off ever since. So for as much of a run as this stock made, even from pre-market dating back to Wednesday of this week, we're expecting the profit taking. The stock pretty much is flattened out at this point. So we're not going to put this on our afternoon list going into the close, but keep a good eye on this for next week, though. I wouldn't be surprised if it dumps off further, but perhaps, hey, maybe Tuesday next week, Wednesday next week, we'll tend to see more activity on the way up, more buying on the way up. All right, Carve, another one. Unfortunately, this one was more of a bust than anything, just one from a morning watch list. I mean, kind of similar to what I just said on the IDEX. For as much as this stock ran up from Wednesday, it dumped off. From Thursday, it ran up very nicely. And for the pre-market push that it had, well, if it's not breaking higher, same to be said for the U1 trade. Ended up making a nice pop early in pre-market, and after the open, a lot of these stocks ended up getting halted right after the open. So typically, once a stock moves up or moves down too much too quickly, markets end up halting the stock for about 5 or 10 minutes. We ended up seeing the U1 trade make a nice pop, got halted on the way up, but you can see for as much as this squeezed up over the last few days, you're beginning to see the dump off heading into the early afternoon. Class D stock ended up going right down with it. They're moving very similarly as they have been. So with U1 pushing up here, maybe we'll throw the U1K on our list. This one here has a huge spread, but this one, the Class D, tight spread, penny spread, very liquid order book. We've been doing really well on this trade, at least from Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Today, not as much. Ended up dropping off early on and never really presented as good of a buying opportunity, maybe up until now. So we'll come back to this trade, U1K at least, once we finish up the percent gainers and losers here. All right, I've got someone in our chat board here saying, can't hear you. I think you guys should be able to hear me. I know all of us in our trading room, I think that we're good to go, right, guys? There we go. Perfect. All right, I think we're good. All right, so what we'll do, we had a couple of others, including Fausto's SHLL. I'm a little confused, though, because a couple of these are warrants and other class stock. Where's the regular SHLL here? There we go. Up only 31%. Oh, number 10. That's why. You can see there's number 6, number 1 here, up 177%, the warrants. We didn't really trade this, though. Fausto was calling out this SHLL trade very early on in pre-market. Ended up being one of our better trades across the morning. Once the market opened up, though, it kind of flattened out and pulled back more. So, I said in our chat board earlier, out of all things, I wish this stock was shortable, right? To see this stock up as much as it was, oh man, I mean, you got to figure when the markets open up, it's going to pull back, and at that point, hey, if it would have been a great opportunity. All right, so we'll go right from top to bottom. That shell trade confused me at first because the warrants were up top here, but we're not going to focus on either of these, at least right now. BYFC, I forgot about this one. Damn, this one ended up doing very nicely for us. Popped, got halted shortly after the open. Unlike the other crazy ones, though, we haven't traded this one really at all. Ended up pulling back, consolidated a bit, but eventually broke out higher. Ended up holding right off the higher low that you guys could see there around 410. Ended up making a steady trend up very nicely up towards high of the day, 723. The fear with this stock is the same with any of these small cap, low float runners. The volume craps out quick. The stock ends up either consolidating, which would be one of the better things to happen of it. Otherwise, it just tanks, right? So, for this trade, the BYFC, it ended up dropping off very sharply, almost twice as sharp as it had moved up. And especially now at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if it ends up filling the pre-market gap on the way down. All right, so what else do we have here, guys? Cohen, another one of those that I brought up earlier. This thing's pretty ugly. It's popping right now, but I'm not going to put this on our list. U1's making a sharper move. Like I said, we'll go back to the Class D stock in a moment. For all of our traders in our trading room, maybe you guys just keep an eye on that stock as I'm doing the meeting. MTSL here making a nice recent breakout, recent volume pop, that is, at least right around 1:30 Eastern time, seemingly continuing to squeeze up for right now. I'll put it on our list. I mean, just given the recent activity, I don't know how much I trust it just yet. Kind of a wacky spread at times, 1 cent right now, but it just opened up to about 4 cents a moment ago here. Big 12,000 share order on the ask at 182, 14K at 195, 12K at 198. So a little tough to identify where we could find major resistance. You'd figure a whole number like 2 would be a major point, but you got a couple of larger orders underneath it. If anything, I mean, I like the time in sales here because that could identify a big volume-based level. If anything, we could actually even expedite that process more. Yeah, 182. You happen to see the order on the ask here, guys, but it's not even that. The volume histogram here on the right-hand side, you can kind of see just how 182 is the most amount of shares traded at it, or at least compared to all the other price levels below it here. So 188 is the high of the day. 186, that is, I'm sorry. But you know what? 182, given the volume traded at the level, the volume that's currently at the level here, yeah, that's our major level, major resistance to watch here for the meantime. All right, so at least now we have a level to keep in mind, 182. We'll come back to this, but yeah, for right now, this one's on our list here. I'll make the cut. All right, let's, as always, just expand the chart here. At this point, guys, given the market, we'll probably throw the side list stocks on our list, NCLH, RCL, the airlines. Let's zoom out here on the chart. BBGI ended up making a nice pop earlier on today. I missed out on this run, but Fausto and a lot of us here in the trading room caught it. So ended up popping, of course, right out of the gate after the market opened up. We caught this, though. I thought the first call out on this trade was once it ended up getting halted on the way up, it was right around 370-ish. So it ended up getting halted around 360, 370-ish. I forgot exact price. Ended up reopening up, though, shaking around a bit. And, of course, as you guys can see, continued to push up for a second leg up. Actually, almost like a third leg up here. Can kind of built this pennant, then broke out once more. Again, volume died off, as did the stock, ended up pulling back and then made a big shake from 4. Seems like it bottomed out, but for right now, I'm not going to put this on the main list here. Got a figure for a Friday, a summer Friday for that matter, all of us cooped up in our homes under quarantine. I said this last week, guys, you know, hey, the market makers are out right now. So I'd figure there's not going to be as much out there to, you know, look to day trade on the long side. You know, if the market's falling off, maybe we could find some short opportunities. Unless, of course, if the markets make a serious bounce, then I'd say, of course, then it would be a good opportunity to long some of the side list stocks. Here's the AHPI, though. This thing made a recent breakout. We've been following this alongside the, check in with it here, APT. Both were breaking out at the same exact time yesterday. Both were breaking out at the same exact time earlier today. Looks like the AHPI, though, had a second serving here. So for right now, I'll put this on our list given the recent activity. But again, you could already see kind of the volume had crapped out off the pop. So it seems like for right now, resistance, I would assume to be around that 1250 level. Actually, even on level 2, you could see an 11,000 share order on the ask right here on level 2. So AHPI will, for now, make our list. But yeah. Let's see. CLDX, this thing's been a monster the whole week. Today, of course, as well, making a move back up towards 13. So, you know, to go over this very brief, for as much as this ran up, I was expecting a bigger pullback on the way down here. We had the VWAP line right around that 12 price. 12 had a larger order on the bid at the time. So with a lower high, I was expecting a much sharper break down to 12, then a bounce back up. Obviously, it's proven me wrong thus far, making a move back up towards whole number resistance at 13. You know, look for the pop here. See if it can make that second move, but I thought it was going to break lower first. The CLDX definitely will feature on our list. All right. Got a couple of these other guys, others here, guys, very briefly. LMFA ended up running up very nicely, dumped back down, though. So the FRSX trade called out a moment ago by one of our students. Near the highs, and I think with this stock, if I'm not mistaken, maybe it's a different symbol. Yeah, different symbol. You know what I'm thinking of? Thinking of this one stock here, IFRX. Very similar in name. I see the big gap down on this one. That's what came to mind there. Sorry about that. All right, well, either way, the FRSX, we're not going to focus on there. All right, we'll keep it pushing, guys. I don't really see any other good stocks, at least familiar name-wise. I mean, a couple of these here. Lastly, WKHS Workhorse ended up making, finally, it's back over 5. This ended up making a very nice run for us, guys, almost day over day this week. Pulled back here a little bit after the open, but it seems like now it's finding some support from $4.90 or $5. All right, maybe I will come back to that one. The CODX I was going to check out and easily at this point put this on our list. CODX breaking new highs right now, guys. We'll take a look on the daily chart here. Ended up making a small little move earlier in the week, back on Tuesday. High back from Tuesday, 1788. High today, 1776. It's getting there. You got to figure 18 will be the next big level to work with. 13,000 share order on the ask, and that's just from the NASDAQ alone, popping in and out right now. All right, cool. So now we have a decent list. CLDX, CODX here, both of them together. Don't trip them up in name. What else do we have, guys? Overstock. Overstock was trending up nicely heading into the afternoon. It still is, of course, as you guys could see. Overstock, guys, is not to say it's like a Bitcoin stock, but they've been affiliated with blockchain tech. I just bring that up because Bitcoin made a recent run over the last month or so, and we're following this alongside a couple of these other blockchain affiliated companies, whether it be Mara, whether it be Riot. This one, I don't know if it's news on Bitcoin or not. I just wanted to bring that up. Easily, we'll put this on our list. Ended up just breaking out over resistance that we had at 2450. Given the first time it's popping over the level, though, perhaps it's going to make a pop and drop. So let's see. Popped above 50. It already had that little shake back down so far. So at this point, this thing needs to keep going pretty quickly, guys. I wouldn't be surprised unless if the markets really begin to push this up any higher for it to pull back right underneath 2450 here coming up. But for now, definitely going to put this on. All right, so let's hop over to the losers list. For anything else, guys, that's up, 5-10+%, let me know here in the chat boards, social media, and of course our live trading room. You guys let me know as well. Hopping over to the loser side here, bunch of stuff hard to borrow to begin. I mean, almost pretty much everything. Hard to borrow does not mean impossible to borrow for all of us tuning in here. But usually a lot of these that are like down 20, 19, 30%, and it says HB, and they're small cap stocks to begin with, they usually are impossible to short. All right, KRMD is shortable. It's not really doing a whole lot. This home stock is shortable. We followed this more off than on over the last couple of weeks. I forgot what the news was to be exact, but yeah, not really doing it for me there. Not a whole lot going on, guys. It's a Friday. It's a summer Friday. It's 92 degrees out here in Long Island, New York. I hope it's beautiful where you guys are. But, out here in New York, Long Island at least, you got to figure the market makers are done. They're not going to be sitting in their office plugging away on trades. If anything, they'll let their assistants do the work for them while they go out to the Hamptons. So if there's anything else, guys, let me know here. Up, down, left, right, 10+%. Got some comments here on YouTube from Josh. I like that name. Welcome aboard, Josh J on YouTube. He's saying, do you happen to use Bookmap to compare technical levels? I've been watching some of Fausto's. Absolutely. By all means, yes. I'm running from a different computer, Bookmap, so I can't show it in these live presentations, Josh, but I use it all day, every day when I'm trading. So, it's a great tool for more advanced traders. It's a great tool to visualize the major support resistance levels. And we talk about that in our weekly workshop Traders Talk. All right, for all of us here on our chat board, let's take a look at the trading room, that is. Michael's saying AAL toying with 16. Yeah, so let's go to the side list here. So far, we only have 5 on the main list. And AAL is a great stock to keep in mind. I mean, the airlines entirely, you'd say UAL, DAL, SAVE, right? All of them making the same type of move. Now, here's the thing, though. Like, if the markets end up topping off where they are here, the Dow right near 26 flat, and pulls back down, then you would want to make sure you try and find stocks that are shortable. That's the issue. So AAL, at least for those with TradeStation, it says hard to borrow. Make sure that you can request the shares. And if you get denied, then you'd have to try and find another stock, airline stock to short. So that's where I say perhaps a stock like Delta or perhaps a stock like United. JetBlue perhaps as well, if it is shortable. Yeah, JetBlue as well. Again, that's why I love NCLH. If CCL was shortable, I'd probably short CCL. Why CBD at the high of the day? That's an interesting call out, Greg. We've seen this stock in the news, not really too much of late. Actually, the last time that we did, it was right here, back in mid-May. Ended up making a huge pop with the pot stocks at the time. Not to say that this is directly affiliated with pot, CBD company. But we'll take a look just very quickly at some of the pot stocks while we're at it. Yeah, doing nothing. Tilray, CGC not really doing a little bounce with the market perhaps. But yeah, that YCBD call, that is pretty interesting. Of 14%, fairly new, not IPO as much. I mean, it was OTC for a while. So now they're listed on the Amex. Popping up nicely. Yeah, I'm going to put this on our main list here. I like this for right now, at least YCBD. And then CIDM at high of the day from Craig. Yeah, it is at the high of the day technically. You got some funky pre-market activity up towards 250. This stock we've seen make a big run up before, guys. A couple of days in the regular sessions, then in the pre-market a couple of days later. You can see obviously it dumped back down, and right now maybe trying to get back up there. This is one that just came across my radar, SURF, SURF. I'm not going to put this on our main list yet, but it is up big. It's up at the highs right now. CODX trade just dumped back down, unfortunately. Not to say unfortunately, maybe now at this point it'll begin building higher lows, but you want to make sure that you have support solidified, guys, for a stock like CODX. Obviously, it made a big move back a few weeks ago, back a month ago. So it has the legs to make this type of afternoon run much higher. But again, much like these small cap stocks, CODX included, perhaps, you don't want the volume to totally crap out, because otherwise the stock is likely to pull back a bit further. All right, CLDX broke 13, says John, and I think that's pretty much going to do it, guys. Yeah, broke 13. Make sure it could hold above 13 here for the meantime. Shoot up towards 1350 quick enough. All right, so you know what? Considering some of the side list stocks here, guys, I mean, you guys know which ones to follow, at least for all of us here in the trading room. NCLH, the UAL trades, those are my two favorites from the side list. We're not going to put them on the main list, so to say, but we'll of course call them out going into the afternoon. All right, guys, aside from that, for all of us streaming across social media, if you'd like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, feel more than free. That goes for all of us there. To call the phone number down below, one of our education advisors will pick up, just provide more detail. All right, guys, so for all of us here in the trading room, I'm going to sit on my hands. I mean, we have a decent list, but, don't force anything out there. Let the setup come to you. Actually, I'll leave you off with a good line. This is a line that I used to say quite often in our phase 1 and 2 classes, just many, many years back. I still say it at times, but over the years, it's been spun and new phrases come about. Be patient with your setup, but be quick with your execution. Don't force anything out there. Let the stock come to you. Let the setup come to you. But when it does, and when the stars align, guys, don't hesitate. Pull the trigger. All right, guys. So let's try and make some money going into the end of the Friday here, end of the week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.